Hey folks, we're back with a new episode of Three Men in Anime. Huzzah!
Hooray!
So this week, this is Peter Bowman as always, and I'm joined by my good friend and co-host Eric Carlson and Gav Leaf. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
Existence continues.
Excellent. We're covering Eric's most recent series selection, No Guns Life.
Hooray!
So, film noir-y, cyberpunky stuff.
Literally a dude with a gun for a head.
Literally a dude with a gun for a head,
It
yes.
does absolutely embrace the absurdity of the fact that he has a gun on his head.
Oh, yes.
For a head.
Yeah, so, definitely cyberpunky, definitely noir-y. Although, much more cyberpunky than noir-y.
Yes.
It has a lot of noir trappings, but doesn't really get the attitude throughout the whole time. It does at times. It does it really well for, like, episodes at a time. And then it gets very, very silly.
I mean, the dude's got a gun for a head.
I know.
It's silly.
I know.
I mean, there is a reason why I picked this.
But no, more. I shouldn't say silly. Silly's not the right word.
Absurd?
Yeah. You know, it just sort of does. It sort of it goes more into the more traditional. It goes more to the cyberpunky side than the noir side, basically, which is fine. That is a completely valid choice. B, given the series, it makes sense. Like, sort of what the show's about. It's not so much about. It's not really about the whole sort of noir, sort of the noir-esque sort of clashes between between the corrupt like law enforcement and such and the uber well. It's got those themes like the uber wealthy doing awful things to the little people and such, but and the little people basically can't win.
I'm going to say cyberpunk is very much like borrows a lot from noir. Just
of
in
course,
general.
absolutely.
Like, that is also very much a theme for cyberpunk.
It is. But it doesn't go into. It doesn't delve into. It delves into more the corporate fuckery than the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Noir's on a generally on a much more personal level is the thing. The
Noir is
fuckery.
generally much more personal. It's usually has to do more with cops or organized crime.
Yep.
Where
This is
cyberpunk is
corporate.
very much like
Corporate
Corporate and military.
corporations and big faceless entities.
Yep. It has the.
faces in entities.
It also does have the smaller scale stuff in it, obviously, but you have to have the small petty evils also.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and boy howdy do we have some small petty evils in the show.
Yeah. It's literally like somebody started reading a detective noir novel, got bored halfway through and started reading Battle Angel Alita.
And then said,
I mean,
what? But what if I were to
bad
take
options.
the two and go squish?
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. This sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And
for the most part, it was.
Yeah, we overall like No Guns Life.
Yes.
Let's get the overall sort of, if you want to watch the show on your own, but want to sort of get a feel for what we think of it before you do, and don't want us to spoil the details and such. Long story short, season 1 we really liked. I think we all agree.
Yes, season 1 is great.
Season 2 wasn't as good, and then it kind of meanders and falls off the horse at the last three episodes or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll mention as well. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention one moment ago. Hold my hands up. We did end up watching both seasons.
Yeah.
Just because it became very clear that this was not intended as a 2-season story. It's one continuous story all the way through that they split up. It's not 2 12-episode shows. It's 124.
It really is. It really is more of a case way that some shows will do half the season in like the winter season for anime, and then the other half in the fall season, and basically it's more along those lines than so it's sort of 2 halves of the season rather than 2 actual separate seasons.
And I mean, we do we are aware as well when we came towards the end of season 2, there were still a lot of questions unanswered. So there's room for more. The manga continues as well. It's not maybe as close a story as we might like, but it is what it is.
Well, there's not more out at the moment, so
no. Well, no. Yeah.
So overall, we liked it. Overall, we had issues with it, but it's definitely I'd say it's definitely worth a watch.
It's definitely worth a watch. I enjoyed it, particularly the first half.
Yep.
And good chunks of the second half.
Yep. There are definitely parts of the second half that were very good. It's just they missed the mark in the last few episodes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's the short version.
Yeah.
The long version is No Guns Life is a cyberpunk noir about the main character of which is Inui Juzo, Juzo Inui, who is a he's a private detective.
Overextended. Yeah, he's a private detective in what's called an overextended, which is someone who's been mostly replaced with cybernetics.
Right.
He's more
So,
It's the
machine
gunhead.
man.
in general, if you have cybernetics, you are referred to as referred to as extended because you have gotten cybernetic extensions. Those who have gone full conversion basically are referred to as overextended, and they're usually ex-soldiers for the most part, and are usually
ex-soldiers and require a license to keep living.
To operate outside the confines of the military, basically.
Yeah.
They keep referencing a great war that happened years before. Juzo's a veteran, as are most, as I say, most overextendeds are. And he was part of a unit known as the Gun Slaves. And the reason he has a head as shaped like a gun is because they were quite literally living weapons.
Yes, the term gun slave is not at all ironic.
No.
No, it is entirely
It is a literal. It is
exactly what they are.
It is literal, actually. They're walking bipedal guns that, yeah,
They can't fire by themselves.
they have to have a handler called a hand.
Yep. To pull their trigger.
Quite literally.
And gun slaves generally don't have any memories prior to their enhancements.
Yeah, they never make it clear where Juzo's brain is because
it ain't in his head.
It ain't in his head.
But the long short of it is, it's not, the loss of memory isn't like actually intended. It's sort of a wow. That makes it. That is a both fortunate and unfortunate side effect of this. Fortunately, it makes it easier for us to control them. But it wasn't our plan. But hey, cool. Yeah. So yeah, he's a private eye, and
private eye in the bad part of town, which name I forget. It's got a name, and which is where a lot of extended hanging out.
Yep.
And he specializes in dealing with
extended stuff.
Dealing with extendeds, like
he's known as a resolver, which is basically somebody who deals with problems caused by or relating to extendeds.
Yes, and not at all upon a joke based on the fact that his head looks like a revolver.
Mm-hmm.
What you're talking about? That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, it would be. This show is never ridiculous.
No.
But yeah, basically, he gets hired by another extended to help save a kid.
Well, to be fair,
he gets hired by an overextended.
He gets hired by an overextended who's on the run from the cops to help it save a kid who has been taken in by the cops, but the cops are not on the level. It turns out this overextended is just a shell being controlled by said kid, who has an experimental bit of tech in his throat that removes his voice box, but lets him control extended within range.
Yes. Also, his arms and legs are crippled. He can't walk or carry things by himself at the moment.
Yeah.
This is a way that the people did this to him to control him, because of course, Juzo does of course save the kid because he's hired to do it and he's going to complete his jobs. God damn it!
And it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, but he would never admit that's why he's doing it, Eric.
He would never. Yeah. It's true.
He is a film noir protagonist, and he's better than most in that he actually does have a conscience. He's not just an asshole.
He's got a conscience, but he still can't admit his feelings. That's not what grizzled old military vet detectives do.
So, on rescuing the kid, he brings him to his Ripper doc, basically, his underground cybernetic specialist, Mary. Mary is awesome, by the way. Mary's my favorite character. Yeah. Mary is everyone's favorite character. Who basically takes one look at the kid and go, "That's some high-level, totally experimental, absolutely 100% illegal shit. Where the hell did you find it? Also, kid, you can control extended. Here's a head." There's no brain inside it. Just it lets you talk. You can use the head's voice.
Yep. And she eventually basically she gives him cybernetic extensions for arms and legs
Yep.
because
Not full conversion ones, at least not at first. Just enough to let him move around.
yeah. I mean, he's not doing.
Eventually, yeah.
Well,
Eventually, ends up
he is full. I believe that. Well, irrelevant what she does with it. He gets cybernetic limbs, basically. Long story short. The actual details of that are not actually important.
Not really, no.
It's for a while he's getting used to actually using them, then he gets used to using them, and yeah, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I mean, they do go into this whole bit a little bit later on about how the whole extended program was designed to help people with disability.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was the intention. And then people, the human race took something too far. Really?
Gav. No. Corporations took things too far.
Corporations.
Sorry, what am I doing? They're not human.
I think it's important to note that all extended have something called a subbrain, which is usually at the base of their neck, which helps them control their various cybernetics.
Yes.
This is how Tetsuro, or Shonen as it gets called a lot, which translates to boy.
Yes. Juzo calls him Shonen because
both Juzo and Mary call him Shonen.
Yes. Very different.
Everyone else calls him by his name.
With very different intonations.
Yes.
Boy. He's
yes.
very much, dad of boy.
It's very much like God of Dad, yes,
Yeah.
with Juzo.
Yeah, and Mary, it's a little bit more affectionate, although there's a bit of a tone of, oh, you stupid fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much like telling off your little brother kind of thing.
Yes. Oh, you dumbass. I love you, but you're a dumbass kid.
Yeah.
In any case, that's how Tetsuro controls people. He hacks the subbrain.
Yep.
Every extended has one. Particularly early model overextended. It's not always at the base of the neck.
Yeah, actually, a lot of the early model, like especially the gun slaves, like finding the subbrain on a gun slave is basically like, yeah, I have no fucking clue.
It's buried somewhere in the chest cavity. No one knows what the fuck it is. Well, I'm sure lots of people do. They're just very, very classified.
Well, I mean, spoilers, but we find out that inside of a gun slave is fairly complicated. So where it actually is probably a mystery to most people.
Gav, you're forgetting he has a gun for a head. None of that matters.
Dude, he has hammer space.
He absolutely does.
He could be anywhere.
Yeah. At any rate, so it turns out that the vocal implant, the implant thing, which is called the Harmony System, was an experiment by the big Cybernetics Corporation. I know, you're shocked. It's horrible experimentation done on children by a corporation in a cyberpunk story. I know, you're shocked. Never would happen. I never saw that coming.
You want to know how they're really evil? Because it was on the CEO's own son.
Well, we don't find that out till much later, but yeah. Because Tetsuro doesn't have any memories either, because probably intentionally in this case.
Yeah. We find out he's the kid's son fairly quickly. We don't find the other details out till much later.
Yeah.
But the company's name is Baron. There are a lot of German names in this.
Baron, yeah, there are a lot. Oh yeah, a lot of German, a lot of Japanese. Shocking, I know.
Yep. I mean, the Japanese it's a Japanese show. That's not shocking.
I know.
Like, they really love their German for like the Funky Faust. Holy crap, the Funky Faust. Junso has an attack he calls the Funky Faust. The fucking like revolver cylinder on his knuckles spins and he punches something and stuff explodes and it's amazing.
Not funky in English. It's funker.
Yeah, the German.
It's nothing to do with dancing.
James Brown is not involved at all.
There is no James Brown in this Funky Faust.
At any rate, so yeah, Juzo is unsurprisingly a complete physical badass and is not the worst detective in the world.
He's very
pretty good, but his way of solving things is to hit it till he gets an answer.
Yeah,
which is a legitimate way to solve things, particularly noir.
He's not unlike several different film noir detectives.
Yeah,
he's not the thinky type. He is the okay. I'm just going to dive in, and I'm tough enough to survive the bullshit kind.
Yeah,
Juzo tends to just draw his own logical line from through the facts to a conclusion, and just drives through it.
Yeah.
And if he's wrong, so it'll be pointed out. He'll get some explosion will happen. He'll get knocked aside, and he'll land at the correct answer eventually.
Yes.
This is literally how he solves about 90% of his issues.
Yeah.
Not just like detective things like, how do I get cigarettes today? Explosion, 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 blackmail, cigarettes.
Eric's not lying. That actually happens in episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That is literally the plot of episode 3. I love it.
So yeah, the corporation is very much wants to get Tetsuro back, and so the job is delegated to a corporate officer by the name of Cunningham. Oh my God, his character design is perfect. It's absolutely perfect for the character.
Cunningham's the potato, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, Cunningham is exactly what you think of. You think promoted beyond his ability middle management type.
Oh my God. So he's in task.
Just overweight, like perfectly coiffed blonde hair, a face that is both potato shaped and pinched.
The character design for Hugh Cunningham is perfect.
Yes.
It is legitimately like you put him on screen and you go, oh, I know who that fucker is. I want to punch him.
You put that guy on screen and go, oh my God, it's the distillation of every terrible boss.
He is one of the most punchable anime faces I have ever seen. It's amazing.
It really is.
And the voice actor does such a good job for him in Japanese. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because
again, the perfect distillation of every terrible boss.
Oh, it's so
condescending and whiny.
Oh, he's infuriatingly superior to people below him, and is a whiny, sniveling toad to the people above him. It's perfect. Oh my God, he is Mary's my favorite character. He might be the best designed character in the show from top to bottom.
I think you're probably right on that.
He serves his purpose. Yeah.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
And the best part about Hugh Cunningham is he survives the whole thing.
Of course he does. He's the world's worst boss.
So perfect. He comes through basically unscathed. It's amazing.
Well, going into season 3, the next arc, yes, he survives.
Yes. Now I will say also, he comes through unscathed except for probably his underwear. Which is probably an interesting shade of brown at this point.
Multiple times. You know who it reminds me of?
Who?
I should really remember the characters' names before I say things like that. The guy from IBO.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name either, but the guy who's in the company at the beginning who keeps shifting sides ends up with the.
Oh yeah. Nah, he dresses much better than that dude. Cunningham has a sense of style. Like, he wears a purple business suit. Like, seriously, the dude has style. I'll give him that.
Oh yeah. Like, it doesn't work for him really, but it should.
But he's the one character in the show that you're waiting for his comeuppance. Because it's coming.
It should, at least well, here's the thing.
Cunningham will never suffer the consequences of his failures because he's perfectly placed to shift the blame on someone else, and that's all he does.
I will say this: if it sticks to cyberpunk tropes, he will come through scot-free at the end.
Yep. That's exactly the character type, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, that's the archetype. Like, he will come through largely unscathed, except for like needing some new underwear.
And he will not achieve anything either.
Yeah.
He will sit there in his middle management position forever with unclean underwear.
Yes.
And an ulcer. And will deserve it.
Yes.
Oh my God, he's such a well-done character. I hate him so much. It's great. He is the perfect I hate you, but I hate you for all the correct narrative reasons, you bastard.
Yeah.
I don't even enjoy him, but he's necessary. It's great.
he's you are going to hate this guy.
Oh.
Anyone with anything resembling like a moral conscience or just a sense of efficiency is going to hate this guy's guts.
Oh my god, he's
Like,
the worst.
He's terrible, but he serves his role so perfectly in the show.
Oh my
He's
god.
such a perfect archetype of exactly that. A perfect example of that archetype.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Cunningham basically shows up to try to convince Juzo to turn over Tetsuro, and blackmails him by confiscating all of the cigarette brand that Juzo likes in town. Now, this is important because Juzo uses these cigarettes. They are specifically designed for overextended to help control, to help
mitigate the stress of their enhancements.
Right.
Like that's part of the problem with being extended. You require medication, and there's 10,000 different ways to take your medication. Juzo prefers smoking it.
Right. And because
it looks cool and it's very noir.
Yes. And Cunningham confiscates literally all of the brand.
Yeah.
And Juzo's like, well, fuck. So, you can have the stuff back if you turn over the kid. Wait, you're blackmailing me. Yes. You're blackmailing me. Yes. Fuck off.
With my cigarettes? Dude, fuck you.
Okay, I destroyed the cigarettes. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that sucks. It's going to be unpleasant, but fuck you. Fine, my guards will take it. Will beat you to a pulp and make you regret that. Oh.
No, they won't.
Oh, you really don't understand what you're fucking with.
You didn't do research in exactly what I am, did you? You
Okay.
did zero research.
And so, unsurprisingly, Juzo kicks their asses. At which point, Cunningham basically says, okay, fine. I'm going to make your life a living hell until you turn the kid over. Okay.
How is that different from everything else?
And to be fair, Juzo's life becomes more difficult after this.
This is true.
Cunningham actually goes through the effort to make sure Juzo's life is as bad as possible going forward. Unfortunately for Cunningham, Juzo does have a few people who are actually like legitimately loyal friends to him.
Yes. His landlord,
Chris.
Yes. Yep. Who's a bit of the stereotype trans woman, but she's delightful. So
I will say, outside of one trope that they dive hard into and then abandon, I love Christine. I love her. She's great.
Yeah.
They dive into the hyper
she's delightful. She's great.
They dive a little bit into the overly sort of sexualized, hits on everybody gay dude thing, or gay dude / trans woman thing. But they sort of they do that for one scene and then drift away from it. So
I very much get the impression it's just Chris fucking with people.
Probably, but it's one of those scenes I'm like, oh, are they really doing this? And then they stop doing this. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah. Because they drop it almost immediately. My instinct is it's Chris like reading Tetsuro's reaction, just going, "All right, fine, kid. I'm gonna fuck with you."
It might be. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it to get a better feel for that. But
yeah, I'd have to rewatch it also. But that was my impression.
Yeah.
Once I realized.
I was stupid. I was rolling my eyes too much to think about that. Honestly, it's just like, oh god. The problem is that it's come up often enough in anime that it's one of those tropes. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Please stop.
No, I agree. It is a bad trope that has been showing up since
But I will say
forever.
flatly, Eric's completely correct. After that, she's great.
Yeah.
She is wonderful. She's wonderful. So there's Christina. There is Scarlett and her dad, whose name escapes me.
I'm not even sure if he's ever named. They just call him Old Man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a barber who services Juzo's head, basically.
Yeah.
She very much has a crush on Juzo, as near as I can tell, and a noticeable stutter, which I thought was kind of neat.
Yeah. And Juzo is either pointedly ignoring the crush or does not get it. Both are entirely possible and within the wheelhouse of the character type.
Yeah, Juzo does not handle the affections of attractive women very well. Let's just put it that way.
No,
No,
he does not. Mary is the best character. Mary is
probably his most loyal friend, honestly.
Mary is definitely his most loyal friend. She backs him up no matter what, and
They very much have each other's backs. Like,
yeah, they are plutonic soulmates as far as I can.
Oh yeah,
tell.
no, they are besties.
Zero romance in there. That's even better.
Oh yeah. There's no romance between. It is basically his hand. Her brother. He ran into her brother at one point. He asked her to protect her. Juzo agreed, and then it's shifted from he says I'm doing it just because it's my job. And has shifted to it's totally just because of my job and not because you're my best friend. Nope, not at all. Nope.
Not that Mary really needs it.
No.
Mary doesn't have any enhancements of her own, but she's an expert at them, and
she's an engineer. She's a brilliant engineer.
She's an engineer. She is very much like the crust punk kid.
Oh yeah.
She is 100% crust punk.
Yep.
Like, she doesn't shower. She's got constant bags under her eyes. She lives off caffeine and cigarettes. And she's just got like the most vicious, delightfully vicious sense of humor. Like, she's great.
Yep.
Yeah, she's pretty fucking savage when she wants to be.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They also state that despite the fact that she's such a good mech and everything else, she's 100% human.
Yep.
She's one of those, like, even though she's surrounded by people with extensions, she's 100% human.
Yeah, she doesn't have any enhancements at all.
Now, if you read the wiki, they will tell you that she does. They are wrong. She just has some interesting choice of weapons.
Yes.
At any rate, so yeah. So Cunningham's plan goes forward, and Juzo's life becomes more difficult. Stuff happens.
There's a bunch of stuff that happens. Other experimentals extended are sent after them.
Yeah. Basically, a whole load of shit designed to draw out Tetsuro.
Right.
Yeah.
And it works, but not in the way they expected.
Yeah, it never works the way they want it to.
Yeah.
Tetsuro is impulsive. Let's just put it that way.
More than a little impulsive.
It's almost like he's a teenager.
Yeah, Tetsuro's biggest sin is the one time he's not getting his way, so he jumps into Juzo.
Yep.
And turns out Juzo's software is old enough that it doesn't work 100%, and he kind of lets him do it to learn his lesson, and Juzo finds out a lot about what's actually going on by letting him do this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, he's like, dude, that was the least cool thing anyone's ever done. Never do that again.
Tetsuro's like, oh my god.
And Tetsuro puts two together. Oh shit, that was. I'm sorry. I didn't even think. No, you didn't. I'm so sorry. It's okay. Just don't do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, because Tetsuro very much is like his sort of driving goal is like, he doesn't want anyone to be a tool. Like, he wants to be like part of the reason he wanted to get away from the Baron is because he didn't want to be a tool. He wanted to be a person. And and so he takes over Juzo, and Juzo's like, yeah, about that whole not wanting people to be tools thing. He's like, and Tetsuro's like, oh fuck.
Fucking hypocrite.
Tetsuro's it's like, oh, I did a bad.
You really did it bad, and it's cool. We're cool. Never again. Okay, I'm sorry. Never again.
Oh god. So yeah. So the entire first half of the show is there's a bunch of episodic stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on that drives forward the Barron trying to find Tetsuro, Juzo and crew trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
There's some world building involved in there. Like we meet Olivier, who is the director for EMS. Which not emergency medical services. What does it stand for? Like
it's the extended. Oh God, something or other. I forget the exact term, what the exact stands for. But
it's basically like the paramilitary police force.
Yep.
That handles all the extended licensing.
Yep. They handle enforcing the extended law and regulating the overextended. It is very clear that she is very lenient with Juzo.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And it's they kind. It seems to me at least they kind of have a thing for each other to some degree.
Yeah.
But they also very much like, yeah, but it's nothing's ever going to happen.
Neither would kick the other out of bed for kicking lasagna. Let's put
Right?
it that way.
No.
But
No.
She's also a JoJo character. Like,
absolutely.
her character design is very much like.
Yeah, Araki would not
JoJo.
approvingly at her design.
Yeah.
And she is also very. She's great, honestly.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like people often like in the show, people often question how Juzo gets such leniency because he does some shit that should have him brought in, but basically it's because he does under the table jobs for her every now and again.
Yeah.
So she's like,
the rule is basically, when you fuck up and do things, you owe me a favor, and Juzo's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
That is totally fair because your favors suck. And he ends up getting a situation where she calls in a favor, and he's like, "Yep, okay." And it leads to a big mystery involving one of the big war heroes who's a big driving force between making extensions palatable to the citizenry, and all the sort of shady shit that's going on behind that between Barrow and him and his goals
and a lot of the shit that the military pulled behind everyone's backs. And, yeah.
And so there's an overextended that was part of his unit that's trying to kill him, and it turns out there's a really fucking good reason for it.
Yeah.
It turns out, yes, the shining golden hero is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Shocked. That never happens with heroes.
Oh, and that especially never happens in a cyberpunk story.
Or a noir story.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, no. No, never. No. The dude's head is literally golden.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's so good. And it leads to a big sort of reveal at the end of Barrowin has a gunslave under their control who has a hand.
Yep.
One of the big things that Juzo doesn't have a hand and will never accept another one. That's sort of one of his driving things. He does not want to be a tool.
Because the very act of having a hand involves putting himself underneath someone else's control.
Right.
And he's like, nope, that's not happening. There's a reason why I live in a shitty one-room apartment that is also my office.
Yeah. The closest he ever comes is with Tetsuro. He lets Tetsuro pull the trigger on his head once, which is not the actual important one.
Not the trigger he's talking about.
No, it turns out everyone thinks that is the one. No. That just fires the cannon in his head. Notice that just...
yeah.
Does not unlock his full combat potential, which is horrifying.
Yeah. And honestly, the audience is led to believe that is the trigger he is talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They do a very good job with that.
I mean, there's literally one scene where somebody reaches for the grip on the back of his head and he pulls away and says, no one, I won't accept anyone.
Well, I mean,
it's like I think it's like where they introduce him.
It's in his introduction. Yeah. It's with an escort, I believe, actually.
An escort that he just got out of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he just beat up her pimp and his enforcer.
Yep.
And she's like, well, I could do you a solid there. And he's like, whoa. One, no one ever touches that handle. Two, what?
I am not emotionally ready for that. But yeah, he definitely. It's the sort of so basically, again, the big reveal of the whole sort of conspiracies going on around what's his bucket? Hang on. Mega armed.
Yeah, mega armed.
Sai Tokisada is the big conspiracy around him is revealed, and then the gunslave from Barrow blows up the transport van he's in, and yeah.
And you can't possibly let any of that shit even consider getting out.
Right. And Olivier was in there. She survives.
Because Olivier's fucking tough as nails.
Yes. And let's just say she's pissed. But again, she ends up basically... She's very cautious because she knows that, like, yeah, I have to... like, my eventual enemy is almost certainly Barrowin. And, I may be important in the EMS, but... Yeah, my superiors are in bed with Barrowin, and that's a big megacorp for one lady to take on take on.
Yeah.
Fuck. Not at all a noir / cyberpunk trope there either.
Nope, not at all.
We are also introduced to Cronin, who is another member of EMS, who is utterly unaugmented and is trained in techniques to take out overextended.
Cronin is just like... He's hard to describe, really.
He very much hates the extended, in theory.
In theory.
He'll go on about how much the extended it's terrible, especially the overextended. But he mostly hates he hates basically anyone who breaks the law, basically.
Yeah. He's kind... The thing about Cronin is he's kind of everyone's first D&D character. He's maximum edge and badassery. And it's only until later you start to see some cracks forming.
He's actually a really interesting character as the show goes on.
Yeah.
He deserved more screen time, in my opinion.
He deserved more screen time.
I will also say he sort of has some elements of Alexander Anderson from Hellsing.
Yes.
Just not to the degree.
Not to the degree, and more interesting than Alexander, honestly.
That's not hard.
This is true.
Alexander, he's not the best character. He's all style and no substance. And Cronin very much seems like he's all style and no substance at first, and then he sort of starts showing like...
Well, Cronin wants you to think he's all style and no
substance. Oh, no, is absolutely the way he gets to get what he does to get people to underestimate him. Absolutely. Yes, there's no depth to me whatsoever. Nope.
I am just an edgelord. Just move along. Amusingly, he deals with extended by throwing needles at them and hitting pressure points with them to shut down to inhibit their cybernetics.
Yep. And he can even slow Juzo down some.
Yeah. Juzo's tough to do it to because, again, it's a lot of old out-of-production parts all jammed together.
Yeah. Plus, Juzo's like practiced and good enough that like the first time we see them actually have a little spar, it's like Cronin does manage to land a fair few needles, and like Juzo's like, it's a good job I managed to shift that 1 inch to the left, so you missed. You missed all the important shit.
and Cronin's like, fuck. It's like, no, he's right. He's not bullshitting me.
And uncomfortable. Well done.
Yep.
I love Cronin's reaction is very much like, fuck. He's not bullshitting me. Fuck. God damn it, he's better than I thought he was. This sucks. God damn it, I'm beginning to like him. No.
God damn it. Not supposed to like these guys. And Cronin's very much one of those, like, I hate all of these guys, except for the guys that I do like.
He very much wants to be the prejudiced cop. It's just that, you know.
Yeah, he keeps on running into extended that he likes and thinks are cool.
But I can't admit it because that would be against my trope.
Yeah. I can't admit it because my entire identity is built around this. Grr.
I mean, it's not like I was trained from childhood to be able to hunt down and kill extended. Oh, wait. Which is one of those things that really would have been nice to have known much earlier in the show.
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah, the first season ends on basically, so we resolved that we have the big confrontation between Juzo and the Barrowin's gunslave, Seven, and his hand, Pepper. Juzo loses an arm in the fight.
Yep.
But Pepper and Seven have to retreat for various reasons.
Yeah, I mean, Seven and Pepper pretty much win the fight. Yep. It's just they don't win the battle, so to speak.
Yeah. They realize, crap, we're beating Juzo, but he's not trying to win the fight. He's trying to stall. Shit. But also, Pepper's like, oh, I want him.
Yeah. So Seven's very much like a little kid. Seven sounds like he's maybe 12.
Yep.
And behaves like it.
He's very immature.
Yeah. Despite the fact that he's probably about like at least 6.5 feet tall and made entirely out of muscle.
Yeah.
Pepper is very much like she very much plays into the murder slut trope.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't know the right term for it
She
either.
dresses. That's one I came up with, and it's not one I'm happy with.
I don't like it. Yeah, she dresses very provocatively.
She dresses very provocatively. She's plays a lot with innuendo. She really likes killing shit.
She likes her good old hyperviolence. Let's put it that way. She likes the good old ultraviolence. That's the term.
That's the term, ultraviolence. Yes. She likes to watch the Red Groovy.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out there's more to her towards the end of the show, but for the most part,
in the final episode,
it's the final episode, which probably should have happened much sooner. But hey,
their timing at the end of the last two episodes are just like, oh my god, what? Why are you revealing this now?
They have this habit of like, if it was a 12-episode series, like the story itself wraps up on episode 11.
Yep.
And then episode 12 is a little coda story bit that leads into the next season.
Yep.
And they do that at the end of end of season 1, and they kind of do it again at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
And
it's not quite the same level of next wait until next season, but it very much is, yeah.
It's enough to open up a whole bunch of questions, and like they're deciding that they're going to get us interested in the backstory of these characters on the last episode of a season.
Yeah.
Which is all well and good if you know the next season's coming. Which at this point we don't.
Yep. It probably worked better in the manga, honestly.
It probably worked a lot better in the manga.
Yeah.
It's very much a friggin' Gynax ending.
Oh yeah. Given that it's Madhouse.
Yeah.
Overall, it's the second season is basically more of the same sort of structure-wise. It's just different plot points and unraveling different conspiracy.
It also tends to be more serialized. There's more overarching plot involved.
There is more overarching plot involved. There is a large focus on Mary's brother, Victor.
Yeah, Victor, and Spitsbergen, which we hear mentioned in the first season,
which is the anti-extended terrorist group.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, there's a lot of different questions, as I said earlier. There's a lot of different things that need to be answered, and a lot of different plot points that they're all pulling at the story all at the same time. Season 1 is Tetsuro and Bururin. That's basically
season 1 is mostly putting the pieces that are the main characters into play.
And world building. There's a lot of world building involved.
Season 2 is Spitsbergen.
Yeah, it is about the Spitsbergen and their targeting of Bururin and the extended.
Yeah. Amusing as Spitsbergen is shown to be utterly hypocritical at every turn.
Yes.
Yes, they are an anti-extended terrorist group.
That employs a lot of extended.
Employs a lot of extendeds and even uses, well, not extensions, but they do use wouldn't be cybernetics, it'd be augmetics, I suppose, like power suits and all that kind of shit, so they can, actually enhance themselves.
Yeah.
Without using the dirty cybernetics.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that is a subtle but important distinction.
It is.
But like when they employ fucking Victor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So Victor is Mary's brother. Victor used to be Juzo's
personal
mechanic, and is the person that actually gave Juzo his name.
He's also an extended prodigy. Like,
Yeah. Like the dude knows extensions like he's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mary is a self-taught engineer and is very, very, very good. Victor's
like
better
literally,
by
like
a
the first.
large.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say, like the first time we meet Mary, she's helping somebody out because some dodgy, engineers put in bad parts and they're not compatible with the host and are gonna basically fry her brain. And like she's there, like I say, she's completely self-taught, but she's there dissecting every little fuck up that this engineer's done, fixing it, sorting it all out, and getting this person back up and running.
Yep.
And like I said, it's all self-taught, and yeah, Victor's better. We've seen the backstory. Like, he's fucking ridiculous. Like the level of skill he's got.
Yeah. So yeah, Victor has done some interesting cybernetic enhancements on himself, shall we say?
Yeah. And he basically goes on a murder spree through town, shredding extended, like
Yeah.
disassembling them on the spot, almost instantaneously. He's very good at this. He also has like Cenobite by way of Leatherface, uh, mask, which is, I thought, going a little heavy there. There's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he is just Victor himself is just swimming in extensions and cybernetics, including like tentacles for disassembling people from like 50 feet away. And yeah, turns out Victor's whole bag is he was experimenting with a tandem subbrain on himself, two subbrains working in tandem or parallel. I don't remember which. Doesn't matter. Turns out with their network that way, they are strong enough to receive personality imprints, powerful enough to receive personality imprints of their host. And yeah, when Victor's uh, personality imprint like came online, it was when it was in the middle of an existential crisis after having witnessed the horrors of the war firsthand for the first time. So yeah, the subbrain decided, you know what? We're just gonna put you on the back burner there, Meat Brain. We're gonna do things my way, which is the way you wanted it. Not anymore. No, it's the way you wanted it
Yeah.
when I came online, which is the only time. So tough.
I have all the information. This is what you wanted. This is what it's gonna be.
We're gonna kill everyone and everything forever.
No, not everyone, everything. Everyone and everything,
and everything with cybernetics.
Yes. The extended are bad. We're gonna kill them all, but we're extended. That we will deal with that later.
That's a future me problem.
That's an issue for the future.
Yeah, or possibly a future you. I'm not sure which.
Future us?
Doesn't particularly matter at this point.
But yeah, long story short,
Mary beats Victor with boob missiles.
Yes.
Which I love.
I will say, I'll give full props to the actual animators, because it was fucking hilarious when all three of us were sat there like, wait, did Mary go off model?
Yeah, we're like,
why is she
so busty?
Why is she
Juzo
so
noticed she's bustier, but hasn't said anything. Like he got that look, so it's on purpose. And I remember saying, "Is it boob missiles? I hope it's boob missiles."
It was boob missiles.
It was boob missiles.
Yeah. It is an old enough trope that I'm okay. It only got a minor eye roll for me. Of oh god. And mind you,
it kind of actually makes sense.
So ridiculously tongue in cheek. It was full acknowledgement of how ridiculous.
Oh sure,
it is.
Absolutely. No, I agree. As I said, it got a minor eye roll for me, but that's like, oh god, really? Okay, fine,
but the thing
fair.
Is, as well, think about it logically. Look at Mary's character design. That body warmer is literally the best place to conceal anything that she might be taking.
Also, like, it's very in character for Mary to do
that. I'm not arguing. As I said, it got a minor eye roll for me. That's it. It's like, oh god, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I will say there is a little bit of needless fan service.
Oh god, They do it's Mary rare it's rare that it involves Mary, so
Yeah. I mean, Mary wears hot pants all the time, but it's very much just like
To be fair,
it's
the
treated
leads,
very much like she's wearing baggy shorts. Like it is not something that they accentuate or obsess over.
the leads themselves are actually fairly well treated. You know,
Yeah.
in that regard, they're really they're well written characters. They're not just they're not just there because they're women. They're characters who are
oh,
women.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's one or two. I mean,
Pepper is one of the more egregious ones, honestly.
yes. The villain
Pepper is one,
women. Because I mean, not even just Pepper, but her sister in the.
Oh yeah,
first
Sister
Oh,
Karen
yeah,
from the first episode. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Sister Karen. Yeah. And
Um,
yeah, there's a few bits like that. There's a whole episode fucking devoted to it.
oh right, John Podman. Fuck.
John Podman, yeah. But other than that, the
Guy with the
brown
cyber eyes,
guys-
Eric.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
That asshole.
Yeah.
Who got off way lighter than he should have.
Oh yeah.
Although I will say, I love Barry. So, what do you mean we're letting him go?
Yes.
Fuck.
The bit I like about that, about that particular episode, is when Mary comes into the friggin' barber shop, and she's like, "So I haven't showered in like 3 weeks. My head is really itchy. Can you just like give me a shampoo real quick? I've got work to do."
Yeah. But yeah, yeah. At any rate, but yeah. So Spitzberg. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff involving Victor, and like it ends up revealing that Victor's consciousness is still sort of in his original body, which that was what they're fighting wasn't his real body.
Right.
And stuff happens, and this all leads to the current guy who's taking over from Olivier having done a bunch of shit he really shouldn't have done to basically try to take out Spitzbergen. Yeah, it gets revealed to the superiors that he really should not be in charge anymore, and Olivia gets her job back basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, "Yep, you're done."
She was on medical leave because she was
basically
stitched back together.
It wasn't just medical leave; she was basically put on temporary suspension too because she had heard things she probably shouldn't have heard. But she's back now. Hooray. And Juzo owes her again.
As usual.
As you do.
And Victor is basically, he wants Juzo and Mary to find his real body and deal with his subbrain that's gone crazy. And that's the last we heard from Victor.
Yeah. Victor gets done dirty. Like I was excited to see.
Literally for the first half or so of the season, it really feels like this whole arc is going to be largely about Victor and his relationship with Spitzbergen. And no, he's gone.
He doesn't know. He just disappears. Yeah.
I get the feeling that he's sort of a more ongoing thing that'll pop up throughout the goes on.
Yeah, he's going to be long term. Yeah.
So like I get it, but boy howdy, given that the anime is almost certainly not going to get more, like
yeah, it feels like it did Victor dirty.
Yeah.
Which is my biggest complaint.
Yep. They do. So we get the final sort of big confrontation with Spitzbergen because they do kidnap Mary and Tetsuro and Chris.
Yep.
Because Juzo has information they want, i.e. the stuff that will the thing from season 1 with Mega Armed and such, and the conspiracy and all that stuff, which would basically prove that Barrowan has been lying about how safe extensions are, etc. Blah 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 blah. Juzo's like, as usual, refuses to be blackmailed. It's like, we're blackmailing you. Fuck you.
No, you're not.
But we have your friends.
Yeah, but I'm gonna come get them, and you're gonna be very sad that I came to get them.
You really, what would be best for you to? Oh, you're gonna try to punch me. Okay, look, dude. You're huge. You're dangerous, but like, even with your up-tech gear, you're human. I'm overextended. You can't win. Oh, fine. I won't kill you. I promise.
Oh, but you can't hurt me. I'm wearing this like diamond laminar power armor. But
Punch.
Oh, thank God, I don't have to pull my punches.
Wait, what? Boom! Oh, fuck!
All of my ribs just caved in.
They survive. Yeah, that character. Oh my god.
Yeah, that character.
Okay, so here's the thing. It turns out the character's female.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I actually like her character design once it's actually revealed.
Yeah, once she gets the helmet off.
And I was like, okay, yeah, big buff, really huge buff female kick-ass warrior, cool. But the way they reveal it is so just like, and fan service. It's like, oh my god.
It's barely even fan service because she's so jacked, and it's hilarious and playing with the trope in a way that I appreciate. But I absolutely could see why everyone's eyes rolled at that.
Yeah, no,
I absolutely could see that.
It's like, oh my god, really?
It was basically like the.
Like, it's not even, like I say, it's not even fan service because everything's fully clothed, fully armored.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
Well, the armor's been busted off. Like, she's.
Well, yeah, the chest plate gets broken off, and all of a sudden, these two huge fucking.
She gets pumped full of combat drugs or some shit.
Yeah.
And then everything swells and gets huge and angry and busts out of the armor, and including her breasts, which go bouncing around. It got a chuckle out of me. It wasn't as funny as it could have been.
I basically my problem with it is that is they really do not treat her like a character. Is the problem?
No. To be fair, up to that point, she hasn't been a character.
No, she hasn't been, and that's fine. Like,
wall to get in the way, and that's fine.
But it's very clear that and it wouldn't have bothered me as much if it wasn't that in the final episode, it's very clear they want you to feel sympathy for her and treat her like a character. And it's like, guys, like, okay. And you know what? I'd be okay. I would be happy to find out that she turns to be an interesting, nuanced character going forward. We'll never know, but. So, big fight. So we find out during this whole thing when Tetsuo has been kidnapped by Spitsbergen that, it turns out his big thing and the reason that Barrow turned on him was he'd been funding Spitsbergen for a while because he decided that, Barrow was kind of awful and needed opposing. And he's right. He just did it in one of the worst ways possible. Like, yes, like I get trying to take them down, but like, wow, Spitsbergen might not be the right people for the job. They might be the only people for the job, though, so I get it to a degree.
They're kind of the only people in position to carry out the job, but they are not. They would not be a step in the right direction, let's put it that way.
No.
Because Spitsbergen is itself, like, swimming in hypocrisy and bullshit. Like,
but even if they weren't, like, extensions are terrible and are awful and should not be. It's like,
not necessarily, dude.
It's like, your problems with the company. Yes, we're totally behind that. It's like, oh, God. Well, it's a Cyberpunk story, so virtually everybody is awful in some way, shape, or form, except for the main characters, basically. Big organizations suck. That's the general rule of thumb in Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
But
it's a general rule of thumb in real life also.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Eric. that would be wrong. At any rate, yeah.
I would mention one of the more topical ones, but it'd probably get taken down.
Yeah. So let's continue though with this. We find out that the guy who founded Spitsbergen is one of the founding fathers of extension technology. And he found it basically as a way to oppose Barrowan because Barrowan had gone completely psycho. And had gone from, yes, we must use this to make life better for people, to, we must never, ever, ever die. And we're going to basically... They sort of take the transhumanism of cybernetics way far, very quickly. And only for the elite is the real problem.
And only for the elite is the issue. Yeah.
Well, not even the elite.
And the whole, like...
themselves.
Well, they're the elite.
They're the elite.
Everyone else are lesser.
The whole, we're not going to worry about, like, the ethics of the situation.
Oh, yeah.
Or the ethics of how we treat people, or the ethics about how we research this stuff.
Or the ethics.
Or the ethics at all. Or the ethics.
Ethics?
This is a word we've heard this word spoken before.
I've heard this FX you're talking about. I thought it had to do with movies.
Yeah, they use special effects.
But what you're describing here doesn't at all help our bottom line, so we can't use it.
Yeah. So yeah, the board of Barrowin basically gone full conversion, like not even full conversion cyborg. They've basically like gone like, aha.
They've downloaded themselves into the Matrix.
Yeah, basically.
They now a budget quintesson that is their mouthpiece.
Yeah. Oh my god, I wanted to like that and it did not work.
It didn't work.
So we're gonna talk about one of the big issues with the final 3 episodes. The CG.
That was about a problem throughout the second season, honestly.
It was, but it was really egregious in the final 3 episodes.
Egregious in the last 3 episodes.
But
it was clear that their CG artist either was sick for the entire second season or passed it off to his intern.
So I have a question, Eric. Of all the stuff we've watched that both of us have, either of us have watched, Madhouse has done. Have they ever handled integrating CG well yet? I've not seen. I can't think of one off the top of my head that they have. We're not talking like they do.
Season 1 of One Punch Man. There's CG in there. It's really well integrated, and you don't even notice it.
All right, so it's that team was good. Did it well. That's the thing is like different teams have different like skill sets, and that's fine. But like this is bad. The CG is bad on a level like Overlord season 3 bad.
The CG is bad on a level like early 2000s anime.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I would rather watch like the CG in Initial D is just better.
Yeah.
And that's like, wow, that kind of looks like someone's playing a PlayStation game.
And the animation in Rogun's life is never stellar. It's never top notch.
It's not Madhouse's best work. That's definitely true. There are
but
moments where it's very good.
There are parts where it's good. I wouldn't say very good, but there are parts where it's good. But for the most part, it does the job and tells the story, and that's,
I will say
enough.
The season 2 end credits sequence, which is all CG, looks a lot better than the CG in the main show.
Which is
that's because the
magic.
That's because it's a fucking cutscene from a 2014 fighting game.
You're right. That's what it is.
Also, the fact that it is all CG, therefore nothing jars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for the dancing Olivier and...
That's because those don't make any goddamn sense.
Apart from Mary fucking
twerking,
fucking
hilarious. Like, Mary twerking is the funniest shit ever, especially after watching a season of her just not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, suddenly seeing her twerking on, like, while projected on the side of a skyscraper is the funniest shit in the show.
Yep. Like, it is more absurd than Olivier doing the sexy dance, and that's saying something.
Yeah. You know full well if she ever found out whoever fucking did that, like, God help you.
Yes.
God help you, sir.
Yeah. Olivier would just have you disappeared. Mary would kick you in the balls repeatedly. Because you know it was a dude who did that.
Would build an electric ball kicking machine and then nail you to it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get the big final confrontation between Juzo and Seven. And we get we find out like part of like, so one of the reason that the leader of Spitsbergen wanted Tetsuro, not just because he's like the guy who, he wanted the harmony system so that they could control Juzo, and because Juzo's the only one who can go one-on-one with Seven. And in Juzo's current state, he can't. He has to be fully unleashed, and they need the harmony system for that because they don't have a hand for him.
Right.
Additionally, Juzo has certain capabilities that no other Gunslave has, it turns out.
This is because Juzo is specifically designed to take out rogue Gunslaves.
Right.
Like, that was why he was built.
Yep.
Like, we have a whole bunch of Gunslaves. They have free will. We should probably make another one whose job it is to take out rogue Gunslaves.
Yeah, Juzo was the 13th Gunslave.
Yep.
So yeah, we get a lot of flashback to like in this basically big confrontation between the leader of Spitsbergen and Tetsuro, and Juzo's buying Tetsuro time. And Tetsuro basically comes out on top and finds out what's going on, and is like, okay, well, I'm not going to control Juzo. And it turns out I don't need to. Like, we do need Juzo fully unlocked to take out 13. And oh my god, because 7 just kicked Juzo's ass. Okay. I'm gonna hop in, I'm gonna do the thing, and oh look, I'm inside Juzo, and I'm not gonna control you, Juzo. I'm gonna help you control yourself.
I'm just gonna show you where the buttons are. You can do with that information what you like.
Because I'm here for you, buddy. I'm here to help
You're
you.
my friend, and I'm not here to control you or turn you into a weapon. But I'm here to show you where the buttons are so that you can make any choice that you want.
And we flash back to his sort of taking out the rogue gun slaves, and it's a well done little bit. It's one of the best bits of the season, honestly.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, it's post-war. The gun slaves are like, so they're probably going to decommission us. You know what that means, right? So we're having a little rebellion and leaving. And Juzo's job is, well, your last job, Juzo, is to go and quell this rebellion. You know what that means, don't you? I don't want to do it. Kind of have to, buddy.
Yeah. But so yeah, Juzo learns to pull his own trigger. Long story short, he's shown where it is basically.
Yeah.
So in his subconscious.
We see hints of what Juzo's capable of. Earlier on, like he starts trying to pull the trigger, so to speak, and you see it's causing him some problems, but it's getting shit done.
Right. But now he's fully capable of doing this stuff, and he manifests a gigantic cyber arm.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we see that, like, one of the things that gunslaves can do is they
have hammer space, and they've got all sorts of crazy extra extensions and shit they can pull out, and extra limbs and such. That's fine. I'm not complaining about that he does manifest an extra cyber arm. It's like that's it.
Yeah. That's it. And why is this CG?
Yeah. It's not a very good-looking CG cyber arm.
No. I mean, I'm cool with giant, like, friggin' gorilla robot arms. I would have giant gorilla robot arms if I could. I probably wouldn't have just one, just because it's gonna suck for your lumbar.
Well, he doesn't need it because he's entirely cybernetic. So
that's true. He does have 3 backup spines.
Yeah, the big confrontation fight between the two just really is a letdown, honestly.
Basically, it boils down to giant grinder fist arm versus giant rocket fist arm, and rocket fist wins, and the end.
Yeah, it's really not that good a fight.
No,
it was a letdown. Legitimately, Juzo's fight with what's her name, the Spitsbergen chick, was more compelling.
Yes.
It was better. It was better choreographed. It told a story.
And I'm down for giant grinder fist versus giant.
Sure, but there needs to be more going on there than that.
There needs to be more going on with that, and maybe play into the themes that you're working with here, because it really doesn't play into the themes that you're working with here.
Yeah. Again, like one of the great lines I've heard talking about fight scenes in movies and TV series and all such is every fight is a conversation.
Yeah.
This conversation was no you.
Yeah, that was exactly what the conversation was.
Done. Okay. Oh, so yeah, that leads into the final episode where they've captured Pepper, who's lost an arm, who lost her hand arm basically.
Yeah, because part of the thing that happens with hands is that one of their forearms gets replaced with a fairly subtle cybernetic as things go in the show.
Right.
That allows them to control the gun slave.
Right. But she loses that bit. 7 has been reclaimed by Barrowin. Olivier has heard all the stuff about, like, the founder of Spitsbergen and all the shit that's going on with Barrowin's CEOs, corporate, the board, and she's like, well, fuck. That is a bigger mountain to climb than I thought it was. Shit.
And it looked like a pretty big mountain.
I'm fucked, but it's a mountain I gotta fucking climb. Oh, I need backup. Fortunately, I do have some, just not enough. Juzo finds out that apparently his former hand and their and ex and quote partner is still alive out there somewhere from Pepper. Yeah, that's kind of it.
That's kind of it. We get some hooks for next season.
Which may or may not happen. Who knows?
Which is probably not going to happen. I'm going to be
Probably not.
honest.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it happens, but honestly, every now and then the shows come back that we don't expect. So
yeah, this is true. I mean, we fucking got another season of Full Metal Panic, which no one was expecting.
Nobody. That was another season of Full Metal. I mean, cool. Full Metal Panic was good,
but like seriously, that was like 10 years ago, guys. What the fuck?
We're going to do a spin-off sequel series, The Kino's Journey. Wait, what? I mean, cool, but that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, if all of a sudden out of nowhere someone does like another season of Slayers,
Yeah. Or fucking Outlaw Star.
Yeah, like another season of Outlaw Star out of nowhere. What?
What?
I mean, cool, but what? Anyways, overall, so yeah, I guess we're into sort of like last bits on the show. I guess we can go to final thoughts, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else you want to sort of flesh out before we do that.
I think this is good.
Yeah, all right. So Gav, then me, then Eric. Because Eric, you picked. You get the last word.
Yep.
Shows where it's like there's definitely something there, but it's just the execution is lacking for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like clearly, as we mentioned earlier, the characters themselves are interesting. They have depth. They're not there just to serve a purpose as a prop. They're there as fully fleshed out characters. But what it all boils down to, really, for me, what lets this down is this show wants to desperately be a long-running show.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the execution of actually handling its shit within the given seasons is really lacking. And I think that's going to hurt it overall. It's like, if we don't get any more, this is going to go down as a really mediocre series. If we get more, 2 or 3 more seasons, and they explain everything and it all comes around, great. But imagine Lord of the Rings, but the only one that came out was the first one.
Lord of the Rings, and it ends after the Battle of Helm's Deep with Gandalf throwing his sword to the air, shouting, and then the forces of good triumph the forces of evil.
That doesn't sound like anything that might have happened ever.
As an aside, for anyone who doesn't know, there's a animated version of Lord of the Rings that was done by Ralph Bakshi that literally happened to because he did not get to do the second half.
Yeah.
The studio cut his funding. It's like, well, fuck. All right. Gandalf throws his sword in the air, and the forces of good triumph for the forces of evil. The end. That was the Battle of Helm's Deep. What? What? But the ring and the volcano and Mordor and what?
Nope, no time for any of that. That's basically what this is.
Yeah, kind of.
Right now, the hobbits are on the halfway to. I'm blanking on names, but they're nowhere near fucking Mordor yet. And
they're trying to get to Gondor at this point.
Yeah, they're still on their way to fucking Gondor. They've just left Weathertop at this point.
Yeah, right. Kind of. Yeah, actually, they're not even to Isengard yet. Like, fuck.
Yeah. We're just like, so where's the rest of it? And this is the big thing that's probably going to affect the mileage on this show. It is not complete. It is not a finished show.
No, it's not.
And
I agree with that.
It's going to rub people the wrong way because of that. It's in and of itself, it's fine. Like you said, the animation isn't stellar. The fight scenes aren't always great. They rely on the old close-up big smash a little bit too much with no real detail. It's serviceable. It's passable. It's not one of my favorites. I'm thumbs up on it. By all means, watch it. It's good enough. It's not a avoid this show kind of situation, but it's definitely in the middle of the pile until we get more.
Sure. Yeah, I overall, it was fun. I like the characters are good. I like the main characters are good. They're good characters. I like them. I like Juzo. I like Mary. I like Tetsuro. I like Olivier. I like Cronin. There's a lot of really good characters. The setting is cool. There's a lot of really interesting stuff they've got set up. They've got some interesting plot lines that they be getting into. Um, but overall, it's fine. I would even as things stand, I had enough fun that I'm like, okay, yeah, it's worth watching. I'm not actually particularly ecstatically psyched to look like if more comes, I guess I'll watch it. But I'm like, sure, I could watch more, I guess. But I'm fine. It's fine. It's a solid B- show. It's fine. It's a fine show, but which is unfortunate because given how much I like the characters, I want to like the rest of it more, and I don't. They came with a bunch of really good characters. They've got some really great dialogue. There's some great ideas in the show, and that's and the character designs are usually spot on and really cool. They do some the over the top levels of the cybernetics are just fantastic. They utterly nail it with Cunningham. Jesus Christ, they nailed that character perfectly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it also really feels like it wants to be deeper than it is.
Yeah.
And it's not like it thinks it's smarter than it is. It's I want to be smarter than I am.
Yeah, it seems to be a show that is both wants to be deeper and more clever than it is aware of exactly how deep and clever it is, and also wants to be bonkers and absurd. But
and you can do that, honestly, but it's hard.
But it hasn't figured out how to do it.
No,
is the problem.
No, it really hasn't. It does eat them individually at times well, but it never really. The two never work together at the same time well. Yeah, which is unfortunate. But
we never get Kill la Kill here.
Right. It's good. It is a fine. It's a fine show. There are worse shows to kick back and if you go into watching it as sort of a popcorn show and don't let yourself get annoyed at its issues. It's fun. And just accept the fact that the CGI is going to be terrible at the end.
Yeah.
They really did drop the ball at the end.
It's not Berserk 2016 bad, but
I mean, nothing's Berserk 2016 bad.
But in comparison to what the show itself has produced.
Yeah, the CGI was better in season 1, legitimately.
Yeah.
I legit wonder if they had a different animation team for the second half.
It feels that way. Or
which,
a different director.
Yeah, fine, that happens. That you can't always have the same team straight all the way through. It's the business. It's just unfortunate, I'm not upset and angry at Madhouse for that. It's that sucks. I really wish that hadn't been the case. Yeah, so almost. This show could have been a lot better than it was, is the long short of it, I think. And
yeah,
it's not the ending. It's not as disappointing as, say, the ending of Kato was, which is one of our great go back to things.
Yeah.
It's a great example of something that we thought was fucking brilliant and then wasn't. This is something that had the potential to be brilliant and wasn't, and then it sort of lost its way at the end. And it's it's unfortunate, but it's not as stark a contrast, or is what it boils down to. I think we were sort of expecting it to be a bit of a letdown at the end. In retrospect, I realized part of the reason I wasn't as upset by the drop off in quality at the end was I was kind of expecting it weirdly.
We're kind of watching the quality drop little by little over the course of the second season.
Yeah, that's sort of where yeah. But overall, it's a decent show. It's fun, and some of the concepts are fucking great. And Juzo and Mary are fan-fucking-tastic. They're great.
They're amazing. I love them.
Yep. That's my final thoughts. Oh, sorry. One other final thought. The music kicks fucking ass.
Yes.
Across the fucking board,
wow,
the music's great. They use the music really fucking well, too. like across the board. Like that's actually probably the thing they do best. I'm annoyed that I forgot to mention that until now. But like Jesus, the music's good. Anyways, Eric, you get the final word.
So I'm actually going to review the 2 seasons separately.
That's fair.
Because season 1 is great. I really enjoyed season 1. The animation's never stellar, but it's damn good in a lot of places. The characters are great. Does some wonderful world building. Sets up a lot of interesting plots. For the second season. The second season is you start seeing a slow drop off of quality over the both in writing and animation over the course of the series, over the course of the second season, and it's very disappointing because the promise of the first season, holy shit, I was really excited for the second season, because of that, and then it's just a slow drop off over the course of the second season until you get to the very disappointing, thematically bland last 3 episodes, where it just very much gets a Gynax ending, right down to the fact that it just couldn't be bothered. It felt like not. Part of me says they couldn't be bothered, but it felt like they were trying to do something and just rolled a 1. To be fair, I'm pretty sure at least they tried. They clearly were trying. It's just they just dropped the ball, and that happens, and it's disappointing when that happens. But like Peter said, the music's great. The characters are all really cool. Mary and Juzo are just amazing.
Fucking Cunningham, man.
The world
fucking
building,
Cunningham.
fucking Cunningham. The world building is great. It's very much it's very much like a cyberpunk kind of world taken to absurd extremes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just give random people on the street robot spider legs, and this person's gonna shoot needles out of their eyes because shut up. And this guy has a motorcycle for a head because fuck you. Did I mention our main character has a 38 for a face? Like, the world building's, like, there's a lot to like about this show. It's just, over the course of the second season, it's sort of the slow drop of quality till you get to the last few episodes. And it's really disappointing, and I'm sad. I'm not angry, I'm just sad. I'm not angry,
generic.
I'm just disappointed. And it's probably our most negative review in a long time.
For a show we overall like, honestly. Again, I want to be clear. We
Like
do
I said,
like the show overall.
the first season's great, and that's the problem with the second season is not even that the second season's bad, but it fails to live up to the promise of the first season. And that's the biggest problem there.
Honestly, you know what I think happens a little bit in the second season? It loses that noir edge.
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
It becomes very generic, action anime kind of fare.
Like I said, it doesn't live up to the promise of the second season, and that's my problem with the second season. Because the first season's great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love everything about the first season. But the second season just kind of starts that they run out of gas.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear they run out of gas.
C'est la vie. But yeah, overall, still worth watching, though. Absolutely. Yep. You could do far worse.
You could do so much worse. You could do so much worse just from that season. You could do so much worse from... You just do so much worse.
Oh, yeah.
You can do better from that season.
Oh, yeah.
That was also, like, this season of, like, lunatic everything is amazing.
So, yeah, that's No Guns Life, guys. We do overall recommend it, but temper your expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Gav, have you decided what we're doing next? Is this your choice next?
I have a couple in mind, but I haven't fully decided
yet. Okay, that's fair.
Okie doke.
It's going to be a mystery.
Yep. Well, we won't be able to do it this weekend because my brother's in town visiting. So
and
we'll have to wait till we'll have to wait till next week, I guess. The week after, I guess, maybe sort of. Unless you're, we'll work it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to date the episode, next week is a no because you have family.
Yeah.
The week after is the window because the week after that is Christmas Day, New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, holy shit. Holidays are just creeping up on me this year. Like,
yep.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving took me completely by surprise. I haven't even talked about anybody about presents. Maybe I'll just continue not talking about to anybody about myself. No one,
If you don't mention it, it'll
no
go
one's
away.
asked me. If no one mentions it, then I think everyone's okay.
Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you're listening to us on YouTube, like, subscribe, review, comments, etc. Share it around. I don't know.
Algorithm.
Yeah, I dib dab. That's it for this week, guys. Thank you for watching. And we'll be back in probably the new year, honestly. I mean,
Probably the new year.
See
Absolutely.
you in 2022.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.